Hello, good evening and welcome to tonight's upload. My name's Emma. Make sure you subscribe. I do weekly vlogs that are kind of half an hour look into my life, and also we do sort of hauls and organisations, all sorts of stuff. So I'm doing an extra upload this week because this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and I thought it would be really nice to kind of sit down and have a little chat with you lot about some of my mental health issues. Now, this isn't going to be like a video where I'm kind of sobbing and, you know, kind of pouring out my heart to you. This is kind of more like a practical video. If you've been suffering too, or you are suffering, kind of how I got help with my mental health issues, and hopefully this could help somebody out there. So I will start at the beginning in case some of you are new. I'm 41, I'm a mum to 2 children, and I live in the Midlands. I was a teacher for a long time, and then I had kind of a back accident, which meant that I subsequently gave up my job and I started to blog full time, because for a while I was teaching and blogging at the same time. So I made the decision to kind of do the blogging, which meant that I could have more time with the kids and do school runs and all that kind of thing. So I noticed kind of last year, towards the end of last year, it had been building up slowly but surely, that I just wasn't quite feeling myself. I was very snappy, I would be quite irrational, I would have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I'd turned 40 and my children had gone to school, so I was like, during the day when I was working at home, I was by myself quite a lot of the time. The main kind of symptoms were things like, for example, if I had to go to an event for work, I would go and I would come home and I would be terrified about what I had said. Like, things would play over my mind over and over again. What did I do? What did I say? Was I stupid? Did people think I'm stupid? Did people not like me? And it got to the point of the day before I was due to go anywhere for work, I would start to feel sick. I would feel sick on the evening. Getting on the train, I would feel really sick. I would get there, and whilst I can easily chat to people, I would be really conscious that perhaps I didn't quite fit in, and that was a big issue for me. I felt pretty, I'd say the word would be a bit worthless. I didn't feel very good. So that was kind of one issue. The second issue was the fact that I'm in an industry where I am a little bit different. Okay, I am a white lady, so obviously I've got all kind of that privilege, but compared to the people in my industry, I'm not middle class, I have a Midlands accent, I'm not super slim, I'm not super gorgeous, so I was a little bit different. And towards the end of 2018, I started to compare myself quite a lot. I would compare myself in the way I look. I would be up for a job, somebody else would be up for a job, and they would get it maybe based on the way they looked rather on their kind of audience or their engagement or whatever, which is not their problem. I have no issues with you know, beautiful influencers, none at all. They're gorgeous, I love you. I was just kind of looking at myself a bit negatively. So that was the second issue. And the third issue for me was trolling, which is part of the job. It's, if you're on social media, you're gonna get it. It's just inevitable. There'll be people watching this now who will give it a thumbs down. There are people watch this now who will go and talk about it on threads and say how awful I am. It's fine. But then I didn't find it fine. The only way I could describe how I felt then was that every comment was like kind of getting at my chink of armour. So I had this armour on, and every comment would take another little bit and another little bit and another little bit till I felt like I had no armour left. At the start of 2019, I was suffering. I'd wake up in the morning and have like real bad anxiety. As I mentioned before, I was really snappy. I did go to the doctors and kind of explain all these feelings, and she recommended that I started taking B6, which kind of controlled my hormones a little bit. But I felt pretty terrible, and there was one incident in a weekend where I saw something on Instagram that affected me so badly that I got in the shower fully clothed and I would not get out of the shower. just in the shower, sat on the floor. And my husband came in and he was like, I'm gonna put the shower on. And I was like, you can put the shower on because I'm not moving. So I was just sat in the shower for hours. And I thought, do you know what? This isn't normal. And I think what was holding me back is, in the scheme of the world, my life is great. Like, I've got a great family, I've got a lovely house, I've got a really flexible job. And I thought I shouldn't get help, because who am I to go and get help when there's people who've got no money, or there are people who've got proper illnesses. Like, I don't deserve to go and get help. I should just be able to pull my socks up. But when I was in that shower, sat on the floor, there was no socks to be pulled up. I could not function. I was spending more and more time kind of isolating myself from my family on the weekends, just kind of lying in bed, and I just wasn't myself. So I made the decision to seek some private therapy. You can get the therapy on the NHS if you speak to your doctor, but I'm kind of in the privileged position that I can afford to pay for private therapy. It's not cheap per session, and I do go every week. Now, I get a lot of questions about how I decide on my therapist. I will be honest, I wasn't in a very great frame of mind. I just kind of Googled local therapists, have a little read through. I knew that I wanted a lady to speak to, and I kind of whittled it down. Saw a lady, reached out to her, she phoned me up, we had a phone conversation, and I thought, right, she seems okay. And then I went for like a taster session, and I've been going every Tuesday for an hour since. So January, February, March, April, May, so like 4 months. And I will say that I think if I hadn't have sought help with the therapist, one, I would not be doing this job anymore. There's no way I would have been able to have coped. I wouldn't have been able to cope. And two, I think I would have been really poorly. I think I would have been extremely poorly. Another question that I get asked quite a lot is, what happens in a session? So I'm not having cognitive behaviour therapy, I'm just having like talky therapy. So I will go in and sit down in a lovely room, the therapist is opposite me, and we will just talk through things. Sometimes I go and I think, I've got nothing to talk about this week. I've got absolutely nothing to talk about. What a waste of time, what a waste of money. I could be doing something else. And then as soon as I sit down, I just start talking. And they're very good at getting you to talk about stuff that might be worrying you. The first few sessions I found super easy, and I came away feeling quite light. But then after that, there was a few weeks where I left and I would be very upset, and I would come home and I would have a good cry, because I've been trying to work through things and unravel things, and that was really hard. But for me, it has really helped with my issues. Now, I don't know if my issues have been around for a long time. I don't know if they're related to stuff like my children going to school. That's a big change. Me getting past 40, that's quite a big change. Or is it just to do with industry? I don't know. But I have worked on the things that I needed to work on, and I am a lot better. So with regards to traveling, you know, to events and stuff like that, what I do now is, if I'm going to an event in London, I will tag on the end something else. So it might be like, I might pop to the big Primark, I might go and see a friend, but something else that distracts me from worrying about daft things I might have done. So that's really, really helped. It means that I don't get anxious as much. I mean, there's still the odd moment. I don't get anxious as much when I go to events or when I have to go to London. So I feel a lot more confident. I'm saying yes to a lot more things, especially if they're Birmingham. If it's in Birmingham event, I will say yes, because I get to go and meet new people, and it's good at exercising that confidence. With regards to the constant comparison that I was putting myself under, I've just dealt with it in the fact that we're all different. Good for them, but not for me. So my audience likes what I do, so I don't really need to worry about what anybody else is doing. I'm very self-aware. I know I'm never going to be super slim. I know I'm probably not going to be the most successful person in the world. I'm very self-aware now, and I am just focusing on the people that are really good for me, and like my friends who are not in the industry, I've been seeing them a lot more. I'm focusing on that, and I've been not endlessly scrolling Instagram worrying what everybody else has done, and that has really helped me as well. I know this is kind of, you're probably like, well, none of this relates to me. If you're watching this and you're like, well, I don't constantly scroll Instagram or care what anybody else thinks, I'm just telling you about my story in case you are thinking of getting help and how it's helped me. The trolls is kind of stuff that crops up ever so often, and I've just got a better handle on it now. I've kind of designed a set of rules with my husband and with my manager of how I work social media that will help my mental health, and it will help me focus, help me be positive, and the people who enjoy it, and the people who don't enjoy it, don't enjoy it. So for example, my husband moderates my YouTube comments, my manager Paul goes onto any threads on websites and checks out if people have been very inappropriate, and that's working really well. And the past few weeks I have started to feel a lot better. It kind of took a turn. There's been some situations I've been put in, and in the past I would have really overreacted, and I've gone to bed for weeks, you know, not weeks, I'd have gone to bed for hours, and I'd have been shouting and screaming, and I've like took a step back, thought about it, and reacted in a much better way. So I just thought it would be good to talk to you as it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and just kind of, because I know some of you are younger out there, and I know that it's always good to see somebody that you can relate to and you see all the time, and it's good to know that they also suffer as well, and that they found help, and that they found it really helpful. Whatever problem you're suffering from, it's a problem for you. So even though to some people my problems will seem very small, to me and my family they seemed very big. The only way I can kind of do an analogy is if you had a broken little finger on your hand, out of the scheme of all the things to break in your body and all the illnesses to have, it's very, very small, isn't it? But you're not going to walk around with a little finger for ages, are you? It's still going to hurt, you'll still go to the hospital, you'd still have it, you know, taped up and looked after, and you'd still get better. So that's how I kind of have been dealing with my mental health, thinking, to other people it might be small, but to me it's big, and I needed to get it sorted. It's been hard. I'm really glad I did it. Will I continue having therapy forever? Probably not. Possibly I might stop in the next few months, but I now know if anything else crops up in the future that I will be able to go and get help, and I wouldn't feel a stigma, I wouldn't feel ashamed, I wouldn't feel nervous, I wouldn't leave it to the point of me lying on the floor sobbing whilst my husband is just baffled. So it's really helped, and it's given me confidence. So I will leave in the description box loads of different places that you can get help if you are suffering from any mental health issues. You're not alone. It's okay to not be okay. You know, you might be a mom who might be suffering with postnatal depression, or you might be a teenager that's, you know, struggling with some sort of body image issues. There's a lot of people out there who struggle, and I just hope if this video reaches one person who decides to leave it and then go and get help, then my job here is done. I love you lots. I'm sending you lots of positive thoughts if you are feeling a bit fed up, and I will see you for another upload soon. Bye guys.